Satnam, beautiful sovereign woman. I am Jyoti Kawar with VeronicaBerriganIam.com. And today on Sovereign Woman TV, we are going to be learning how to strengthen your immune system holistically and the deep, really spiritual meaning behind the coronavirus, which is something that a lot of people are talking about. And as always, thank you so much for liking and subscribing to Sovereign Woman TV. As you do know, I go live every Tuesday and Thursday, and by hitting the subscribe button, you will be notified when I go live Tuesday and Thursday with Tuesday spiritual sovereignty videos to help you take your sovereignty back, learn how to control the mind, and then Thursday with Kundalini Yoga technology meditations to help you digest and integrate this newfound awareness so you can heal yourself, healing generations before and after you. So welcome. And today this subject matter is something that's super important to me because Kundalini Yoga as a technology works very specifically to actually strengthen your immune system. And before we get into the deep spiritual meaning behind coronavirus, and this is something that has been downloaded to me a lot through my meditations lately in the last week, especially yesterday and the day before, where it gave me a lot of clarity as to the deep meaning and significance and symbolism behind it, and how we ourselves can protect ourselves and really raise our frequency to a point where we're sovereign around these subject matters and we can truly continue on our dharmic path. And so I've been doing a lot of soul searching, a lot of meditation and prayer because, with all of these cosmic energies around us and with all this talk, it's a lot of fear mongering, but at the same time, a lot of things are being brought into the light, which is not to be surprised. We're not supposed to be surprised in the age of Aquarius. That's what's coming up for purification. And so everything we're experiencing right now is this process of leaving this old Piscean way into this age of Aquarius. And I did an entire video on that, which I'll put the link in the description below. And if you watched it, let me know what you think and how you yourself are experiencing this age of Aquarius. But in essence, what we relate to when we talk about the immune system, we can talk about it in a physical way and we can also really look at it in a spiritual way. And we'll look at that first. And then I really want to get into how we can strengthen our immune system through this technology in the age of Aquarius and what this coronavirus can actually teach us now as we're moving into the age of Aquarius and 2020 and beyond. So, first and foremost, the immune system. Obviously, physically, we want to strengthen our vitality. We want to have a strong nervous system, a strong heart. We want to have a strong an immune system, in essence, is the cells that protect you from the viruses, from bacteria, from things that don't belong in your body, right? So it's this energy that keeps you healthy physically, right? And we know that the last place where physical or illnesses show up is physically, but always start emotionally. They start within, and that's where we get into spiritual immunity. And spiritual immunity is just as vital, if not more important, than physical immunity because spiritual immunity is directly correlated to being able to connect to the electromagnetic field, which everything in this world is energy. You're a vibration, you're a frequency. You made a sound even when you were born. And so because everything is vibration, it's a frequency, in essence, you can work through that frequency to truly look at your imprint that you are making in this world. And our imprint is balanced or programmed through our upbringing or also through trauma, right? And through the emotions that we're having day to day. The emotions and the emotions are really creating energy. This is energy in motion that in turn is creating our personality, right? And so when you look at the deep root cause of a weak immune system, it has to do with the lack of control of the mind. And we had an incredible doctor, Dr. Japa Kar Khalsa, last month as a guest speaker inside of my virtual wellness center, Satori, where I actually teach Kundalini yoga classes, meditation classes, spiritual sovereignty classes, leadership classes. And she spoke a lot about this. She spoke about how when we don't have a clear mind, when we don't, and Guru Jagat says this to another great mentor of mine in the Kundalini yoga technology field, when we don't have a clear mind, we are in essence creating all this energy and motion that then is weakening our immune system. It's weakening the capability for the body to be in balance because all this energy is just out of control and it's basically making you a magnet to the viruses, or easily for you to, get sick, right? And so when we want to have an immune system, we think it is about what we put in our body, obviously, but we think it has to do with something outside of us, when it really starts from within. And it starts from having the neutral mind, from being able to be as a wise watcher, and also not being so codependent on an outside reality to dictate your experience of this world. Because then if you really did that, you'd be giving away your power every moment to the media and to everything outside of you, because we're living a dual universe. This is a polarity. And so as you're experiencing the polarity, the key as a yogic scientist is to control your energy enough to be able to experience it in the neutral mind, so that you're able to evolve as your soul needs to and not become attached. The great masters, that's what they taught us. It's the law of detachment. Buddha, Jesus Christ, that's really what the lesson was, of knowing that everything in this life is changing forever, and that when we can control our emotions and be in this moment we call our lifetime, which is, there's a great spiritual teacher that I follow. His name is Savon Bomar, and he was describing this lifetime as, like this huge novel, and we're like this period, not even it's like a letter in a word in the novel, in this incarnation that takes up this entire thing that's called your life or your existence as a soul. And so we're always in a rush, and we're always not in the present moment, because we're conditioned that way, and we don't want to be in our bodies because of our trauma, right? I did a whole video on healing your inner child, and really looking at those wounds, so you could be in your body and you could experience the age of Aquarius also in higher perspectives, because in essence, when our immune system is out of whack, it's because our chakras are out of whack, our balance are out of balance. This is our energy zones, right? And still experience life here in this body because our energy is in balance, our chakra systems, but also understand we can have these higher perceptive realities, and move into this 5 dimension frequency, which is not necessarily something you have to travel outside of your body. You can experience that in your body. I've experienced that. And it was through moments. Sometimes it's like you don't even expect it, it's going to come. But obviously, through meditation, through my Kundalini yoga practice, my sadhana, reprogramming the mind and being able to get more into my heart, into the heart coherence, so that I can connect to that power, to that higher perceptive reality, so that I can shift my pain into miracles, which really that's what it is. And so when we look at coronavirus specifically, and this, which by the way, there's a new virus every year that's going to supposedly take out humanity. There's especially a new one every time there's an election. So there's just the way, there's a quote, and I don't even know who said it, but it was said that, the way that mankind fights its war in the age of Aquarius, or 2020 and beyond, is not just in the fields, on Gaia, on Earth. It's really the biggest war that is being fought right now is in the war of mankind's mind. And if you really think about it, there's a lot of movies even out there. One specifically that comes to mind is the one about the economy, and I can't even think of the name right now. What is it called? Can't think of the name, but in essence, it talks about the downfall of the economy. And what it says is that it started from a seed being planted into the collective mind, into the mind of humanity, and then from there spreading, that would then, everybody believing that the economy was bad would then in essence crumble the economy. And that is not just for the economy. There's other experiments like this, that when we get enough people to think about something, it starts to spread, right? And see, that's the thing. When you don't control, you're not sovereign, you don't control your mind, you're always on media. We consume so much information, which is what's crashing our nervous systems, and we're acquiring this cold depression, right? Which I did a whole video on. Then what happens is that you're manipulated very easy into someone else's trance. That's what Guru Jagat explains very clearly. And you can put yourself in your own trance. But right now, it's like if you plant the seed of all these people having this disease, it's going to spread because people are not grounded. People are not in their Satnam, in their truth and identity, because the age of Aquarius is purifying and bringing all this authenticity. It's all about being authentic and truthful now, because otherwise the universe has eyes everywhere. When I was in my ceremonies and with Mother Ayahuasca in the Peruvian jungle, one of the images that I got that was so clear was that there was just a beautiful yet scary flower. Yeah, she encompassed, and there was no fragments of her. She accepted herself fully. It was like scary and beautiful at the same time. And it had she had these black petals, and and these black petals, there were millions of eyes that were just looking over, and just looking over me, and just like saying, I have eyes everywhere. The universe has eyes everywhere. And as the age of Aquarius, I believe, evolved into it, it's really that, it's integrity, because there's so much transparency, because we can read energy, especially if you're a Kundalini yoga practitioner. It's all about energy. It's white tantra. So it's about not only biophysically being more connected to your intuition, because that's what happens, but also spiritually being connected to your truth, so that you can trust your intuition more and not get put into these fear mongering. Not to say there's not people dying, there is, but there's certain people that are dying that I believe this virus, through my meditations, is attacking for the reason that it's attacking. And there's those too many serendipities, and there's been too many downloads that I have received in my meditations that have really led me to understand this in a whole other way. So I'm going to share that with you today. So the coronavirus, if we think about it, corona means crown. Okay. Crown, corona is in Spanish, means crown. The reason they call it crown or coronavirus is because uh, I guess it makes spikes that looks like a crown. The virus does this inside the system of whatever it attaches to, right? And so that's why they call it the coronavirus. Well, corona, crown chakra, to me, crown chakra, that kind of connected to the crown chakra. And as I think about what's happening in the world, a lot of people are awakening spiritually, and I don't want to jump on this bandwagon of the awakening and all this stuff, because it's very personal. There's no one way, and there's no like, oh, I'm just in a happy state or whatever. But there's people that are going through some serious hell, and the phoenix rising to awaken to the fact of their power, right? But we as human beings, we are not fully developed. We live only in the lower three chakras because we have trauma, inner child trauma. I did a whole video on that. We have all this stagnant energy that's stuck at the bottom lower triangle. And a sage or a true yogi is one that can have a balanced triangle. And as we start to move our energy, and we start to use energy work like Kundalini yoga, we start to move our energy up. Our chakra system just starts to cleanse itself. And it starts to cleanse itself, and you start to live more in the throat chakra, the pineal gland, and the crown chakra. You become more awakened. You become enlightened. You become crown chakra, which is known as Sahasrara, is literally the connection to the universe. That realization of you are not separate from God herself, union, one. It literally means there's no separation, and you mastered your energy because you're able to balance out these energies and not just live in the lower vibration frequencies, but also be able to maneuver into the higher consciousness, into these higher chakras. And Dr. Joe Dispenza calls them energy zones. You can, if chakra is a word that triggers you because you feel like it comes from New Age, well, that's fine. Call it what you will, but that's what it is. It's subtle energies that live within us. And as a yogic scientist in Kundalini yoga technology, we work to restore these unbalanced chakras. Now, crown coronavirus, to me that means crown chakra. Now, where I was doing a lot of work and meditating, all these visions and all this knowledge started to come to me. One was Guru Jagai, who had an amazing speaker, but had gone through like a couple of near death experiences, and really she started talking about Sarah Tamar, and Sarah Tamar is known as the daughter of Jesus Christ, and many people will call that even blasphemy because nobody even thought that Jesus Christ had a daughter. But really, there were so many years that are lost in the Bible of Jesus Christ, like, early years, like what happened between the age of 20 to, like, 30 before the crucifixion at 33, right? And there's still many studies that even, or many stories, many they saw him basically in India, not only studying because he was a great yogi. He really was. He was incredible. And there was many meditations that we do in Kundalini yoga that I shared with you last week, even one of them that he practiced and he mastered. But there's also even after post, the his rebirth, where he was became a great yogi and worked lived for a long hundreds of like over 100 years with his wife, and this is where it gets really interesting. And also he had children, and these are the things that now, as we move to the age of Aquarius, are becoming more and more apparent. And so Sarah Tamar was Jesus Christ's daughter, and Mary Magdalene. There's a lot of videos that you can watch and documentaries which really talk about how sad it was that they took her out of the Bible, and just all we know about her is that she was some prostitute that Jesus forgave, which really was not the truth. She was an incredible empress, priestess, goddess. Like I can see why if she even was that a prostitute, she had to face some serious demons to then still be in this relationship, because really that's what she was known for with Jesus Christ, and to elevate herself to the frequency that he was. She was there for the crucifixion, and she was there for his rebirth, and she because of her, really, Christianity was still born, and they took her out of the Bible. Why was Christianity still born? Because when he came back, when he rebirthed it, she was the one that went and told everybody. So there's a lot about Mary Magdalene that was taken out because of her power, and that's why we're in the age of Aquarius. And I did a whole video of the divine feminine and how that's awakening. But I didn't know as much. I didn't know about Sarah Tamar. And it had come through through these videos, and I started to do some research, and I started to come all together in my meditations of what this all really means. Because if you think about it, coronavirus, crown chakra. The crown chakra is sa sahas rara. And Sarah Tamar, which is Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene's daughter, she was the only one that was born with the Christ consciousness. So Jesus, obviously immaculate in conception, he was the Christ consciousness, but she was the divine feminine. And Jesus Christ, this is why there's been so many synchronicities and similarities. It's so crazy because I don't know the whole truth of what happened with the Kobe Bryant situation, but he was a girl dad, and he really promoted the well-being of women. And his daughter was going to change, she was already working to change the NBA and how women got paid differently. I mean, there was a lot of empowerment there with women. Jesus Christ he saw that basically in our age of Aquarius and in the future, the woman would carry that Christ consciousness power and would awaken humanity. And that's what Sarah Tamar carried. She, in essence, carried this frequency that would withstand time, and that would open up the Christ consciousness in our time, in you and our time. Okay. So the way there's a few variations of her spelling, but a few ways that I found it is Sarahtamar. And as I was looking at these two words, and as I was really studying her, I started to see some symbolic really serendipities within these two. And really, if you think about it, if she is the divine feminine that's awakening, this energy that's awakening, then obviously she's awakening our crown chakra, because our crown chakra is this union and separation. No longer are we just masculine energy, it's the union of both masculine and divine, which is what the video I did was all about. But that was her incarnation. That's exactly. Hi, thank you so much for joining, Kara. That was exactly what she was born. She came from Jesus Christ. She was born out of Mary Magdalene, and she came to bring the union for the next evolution of humanity, of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. That was her role. And that, in essence, is exactly the role of the crown chakra. It's a being, human consciousness, that has mastered her own energy. Why? Because she knows how to allow the kundalini energy to travel up her chakra systems. She doesn't just live in trauma. She doesn't just live in the lower three triangles, which hold all of our inner child programming. So, in essence, when you are done so much inner work, that's how Kundalini works as a technology. You're moving the energy, and you're able to move these energies up And this is why the meditation that I'm going to be sharing with you all on Thursday, you cover your head, because we want that energy to travel back down to cleanse you, and so that you can become in union with both your masculine and your divine feminine energies. I was in my past life, which was really just before I was a Kundalini yoga teacher and a spiritual teacher, I was very masculine driven. I was a real estate broker, owner of my own company, not driven at all by my divine feminine, and I was dying inside. And all of us that are suffering right now, it's because we have this imbalance. We don't have this union of the mind and the heart. And when we get too much in the mind, that's when we start to suffer. And so Sarah Tamar, the daughter of Jesus Christ, and Mary Magdalene was this embodiment of the union of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And when you look at these two, you really start to see some similarities. Some of the things that I started to see in my meditations was like the number of letters that are part of this. For example, this is the only one that shifts differently, but S, Sahasrara and Sartamar. There's one S in Sahasrara, and there's two in Sahasrara, and there's one in Saratamar, right? A's. There's four A's in Saratamar, and there's four A's in Sahasrara as well. R's. There's also two or four R's or two R's in Sahasrara, and also two R's in Sarah Tamar. H. There's one H in Sarah Tamar. There's also one H in Sahasrara. The only one that isn't equal is the T. There's also one S in Sarah Tamar and two S's in Sahasrara, but there's only one T here. And to me, this T, this S symbolizes the Kundalini energy, but the T symbolizes the crossroads we're in. And she has come back to awaken the crown chakra in so many of us. And that's this Kundalini awakening that so many are experiencing. And so, duality, polarity, the 1%, the elite, call it what you will, what has always fought us, you can call it Satan, but you don't have to see it in an evil way. In essence, it's what it creates the illusion of Maya. It's what prohibits us from becoming atoned and fully in our God consciousness as sovereign woman. So that energy is awakening in all of us. So this elite creates, well, not really, because I believe that this virus has always been in us, but creates the technology to be able to ignite this virus, just like cancer. They say cancer has always been inside of us, but that in essence, it's certain environments, it's thoughts, it's your emotions, certain things that awaken it in you. So there's a technology that the elite have created to awaken this virus in people so that it literally takes them to death. But it's not just everybody. And then let's really look at who's being affected. It's China. China's being affected, but China was probably number one abuser of the divine feminine energy. So if you see who's being affected right now, there's a lot of abuse in this energy, and there's no balance or union. They're just two in the masculine mind. They're abusing and raping her, and that's why she's cleaning and purifying. They said that in China, now that they're not out, using the cars and everything that's happening, what's happening is miraculous because nature is restoring herself. The trees are growing, there's no smog, there's plants that are actually receiving oxygen. So this is a big clean out purification of these human consciousness that cannot live in their heart. They're too much manipulated in the mind. And I do believe that this 1% or this polarity does feed this virus. And because so many people are also not understanding how important it is that they have a meditation practice, that they have an intimate relationship with themselves so that they can put themselves in their own trance and that they're not put in this other trance. And so that they could accept the energies of Sarah Tamar, which is the divine feminine energy of union, of masculinity, and also femininity. And so even if you keep looking like deeper and deeper, the two words are so similar. She's all about awakening this crown chakra. So for us to combat this disease or to combat this virus, what we need to do is learn to get into the heart and allow this Kundalini energy to open up our crown chakra in a healthy way where we're aware. and we become yogic scientists. All of us, we didn't have access to Kundalini yoga. It's a type of Raj yoga, which was only taught to royalty at one point. And then we had Yogi Bhajan, who brought it from the east to the west to teach it to all of us, because in the age of Aquarius, the information is out, yet you still have the free will. You have to integrate it. You have to go beyond watching my YouTube video to then coming back and on Thursday actually practicing these meditations to help connect you to your heart so that we can strengthen your immune system. If you have complete clarity of your mind, meaning you know who you are, and you're not going through an identity crisis, which is what a lot of people are going through, if you're connected to this power of the divine feminine and masculine energy, you are a yogic scientist, you are a sovereign woman. And through your inner work, you're able to elevate your frequency so that you're not affected by any viruses. And you know that this is just the period in the very long novel of your beautiful life. Through that peace of mind, through that neutral awareness of what life is, through that present moment awareness, you truly can live a very beautiful, majestic, glorious life and not get caught up in all this fear mongering and not be afraid of the continued feeding we get into the system, into this matrix to keep us trapped and to keep us not living at optimal well-being. So come join me again and back on Thursday, because we're going to be going deep into this meditation that's going to help you strengthen your immune system and understand that those people that are not meditating, they're freaking out. Yes, because it's scary, all this newness. But if you're a meditator, you are actually really enjoying the crumbling of outdated systems economically, in our health systems, educationally, spiritually, especially. We're moving beyond this old, outdated way of being into this new awareness of the truth of who we are. And by understanding its credible goddesses and teachers like Sarah Tamar, the daughter of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, by accepting all of these aspects of ourselves also that we don't want to accept, you're going to truly live sovereign life. So it's worth it. And let me tell you, for me, Kundalini Yoga has led me on this path not only to spiritually connect myself, but to also neuroscientifically understand what is going on in my body, in my mind, and in my spirit. So it's really, really exciting to share this with all of you. Thank you so much for joining live. Can we try a challenge? Yes, we can definitely try a challenge. Next Thursday, we're going to try a meditation challenge. So you can join me. I'm going to be sharing with you this powerful meditation to actually strengthen your immune system, to help you overcome any of this fear mongering that is going around, especially with coronavirus. So you can deeply spiritually connect to how right now you're being awakened to your crown chakra, you're being cleansed and purified so that you can truly live at your highest potential. Thank you so much for joining live, and thank you so much for the likes, and thank you for subscribing and sharing with your friends. We truly are taking our sovereignty back, healing ourselves, therefore healing generations before and after you. It is a meditation challenge that we're doing. So you can join us next Thursday. The question was it an exercise? Kundalini yoga is a meditative practice, a deep meditative practice. So it's going to allow you to cleanse the mind. So we'll catch you next Thursday, so when I share this meditation with all of you. Right now, Satori Wellness, my virtual wellness center, is not open for enrollment, but we'll be opening enrollment soon. So join us there, Sovereign Woman. And the Sovereign Woman Academy, also my 11-week healing academy, will be opening for enrollment soon. So for now, definitely click on the description below. You can click on those links where you can download some complimentary meditations actually that you can start today. On there, you can actually start a 40-day challenge to help you heal any cool depression. Also, there's an addiction meditation you can take, download complimentary, and you can also download a complimentary guide on mantras and how to use them in your meditation practice. So you can click on the links in my description below. And again, thanks for joining live. Satnam, and I'll catch you all in a few days. Namaste and stay healthy.